This is Magda Rodriguez reporting on week 13 for assignment 2B. The purpose of this exercise is to update the teacher table and create 2 new tables named Students and Contracts in the Pine Hill Music School database. I first started by taking last week's teacher table and editing it and adding new fields by going into the View Design View. And here I was able to make some more edits to each specific field as to data type, description, and as well as field properties, for example, field size and captions for the different things. I was also able, as you can see this key over here, designate my teacher ID as my primary key. I was able to save that and then select, when I did the Take Beginners, as you can see that field, I made it a yes or no, which allows us, as I showed you here, to select which teachers do take beginner students. I then did a structure. I imported the structure of the student table in the music database, and I added the labels here. I did use the Quick Start phone in order to enter the phone fields, as you see, as well as entered 2 new fields, birth date and gender. I went into the design, again made the same type of edits as I did in my previous spreadsheet. In here I did add the first 2 records for Sam and Andrea, and then I imported the rest of the records here, 33 of them, by doing external data and a text file. I imported just the data, no labels and so forth. I saved that and then moved on to designing the contract table. And in designing the contract table, I again was in the design view. I started from here first. I created the contract ID, primary keys, foreign keys, and so forth. You see we've got a combination here of text, data, time, date, time, text, number, currency, and so forth. The field sizes correspond to the different field names as to what is appropriate for size. I then went to the database view, entered a couple of entries here, and then as well I exported or imported an Excel spreadsheet called Contract that had all the different contract information for the school. Finally, I created the relationships in the between the different tables, which allows one database to become much larger when I'm able to combine all these tables together. As you can see, my primary key in the student table is student ID, which is also found in the contract table, and then the primary key teacher ID in the teacher table, which also coincides here with contract. I then saved my spreadsheet, and then I did a compact and repair. So in conclusion, the design view I found most helpful feature. It allowed me to design my table more specifically without any data showing as in a data sheet, and I had more control over field properties and so forth in the design. As my verbal response, based on the current queries in this database, I would still have been able to use them as they exist now without the relationship between the other tables. However, having created these relationships, I'm now able to use the data in the 3 tables as a much larger database. This allows me to create queries using this data, which is not necessarily available in just one table. And then without showing the relationships between the tables, I would have had to manually retrieve this information, which is more time consuming and can create higher margin of errors. Thank you.